Elias has a nice application or different application of where delegates also make sense. So if you're interested, you can just watch and check it out.
Before we had this connect all patch. Where is it? So you remember? We had this patch. And so what we just learned about these delegates, this is a case where it really makes sense to use them, because I could argue that this is kind of messy, because the functionality we were interested in is basically this here. Just, take the distance between 2 points. If it is smaller than the threshold, then make a line, okay? And all this other stuff here is just kind of a boilerplate. It's just this to get this whole cross stuff together and to get out the item A and item B and do all this. So with a delegate, what you can do is you can write a general function where you don't care about distances and the smaller stuff, but you just care about this logic here, this indexing, these indices, for example, when they are smaller, and so on. So I moved over here and created another here. Another operation I called cross, simply like this. And now here is again a delegate thing. I invoke a delegate and I say, okay, I do the cross here. I do all this loop logic. I do it here. This is the same what we had before. And now to the actual thing which will go on, I will just delegate it. I will say, okay, this is not my part. This is something the user has to fill out. I will just take care of the whole looping part. Okay? So I now have some general inputs here. This is the sequence where this cross will loop over. Here's the functionality the user has to fill in. And here's this accumulator. This is basically what we will use to store our lines. Yeah. So now when so this was the original we patched together. And now if I use this new cross node here, this one, the whole thing looks like this now. I can create this cross node and say, okay, create it as a region. That means he will yeah, I can show it. So wait. So right now we use the whole thing like this. We said create node, and then we did this middle click thing here before, okay, with the agent patch. It looked like this. So here was the functionality input, and here we defined our delegate, where we kind of wrote the behavior. And in all these cases, when a node has an input pin which is a delegate, the system kind of allows you to create the node in a separate or in a different way. This is the part where it asks about node or region. When I say region, it will consume this behavior input pin and will simply inline it here. Okay? Now I have the functionality of the delegate right here, and it's more data flow style now, because I can read the whole thing like you see here. Okay, this thing goes into the input, and now is the stuff which I have to fill out, which means, okay, these are my points I will collect, and this is item A and this is item B. Now I just do the distance check and then say smaller and then just add it. And the cross node will take care of the looping part. So in the end you can clean up patches quite a lot with this kind of delegate style, because this looks much more easier to read than this part here. So this is just the concept which gets used a lot of times, and it makes total sense, and yeah, it's very well known also. So just to give you an idea what's possible with this delegation.